Okay, I wanted to go over a concept that is a little bit abstract, and throughout my life, I have heard a lot of sales pitches and um, uh, some conferences and some classes where it seemed like it was all about rah rah, and it never really talked about kind of the meat and potatoes of what you need to do to get to where you want to or succeed or whatever you want to call it. And maybe this is a little geared towards that, but with my experience, life's experience, I guess. Um, Maybe the raw raw or the abstract really is um, what's important, and the how you get there. Um, as long as you've got that dream and you've got that work ethic, there's a million ways to get to the same spot. And so maybe that's what I was missing during all of these other types of teaching moments. So anyway, I thought I would go over, what I've learned to this point as far as getting to success. And this draws from a couple of sections from the doctor's manual. First, in the introduction, and you guys might have read this, but I always write the manual, really thinking about my own children, because I hope that they become successful. Maybe they will become dentists, maybe they won't become dentists. But in a sense, how they get to success, if it's through dentistry or not, is not as important as them being successful and achieving their own goals. So, like I say in the manual, this whole thing was written with my kids in mind. And for you that might be listening to this, um, I would just say, hey, Dr. Stott is not going to hide a single thing. In fact, he is putting in all this effort so that even his kids can take it and become successful. So, and that's unfortunately what I kind of felt at some of these conferences, was that the speaker was maybe hiding something or just doing a sales pitch on other people, maybe even myself. But really, none of this is sales. This is all true life experience and what I know so far. So, one of the big concepts that I've really realized, and talking with other successful doctors in open and affordable, is this concept of abundance versus scarcity. And if you look in the doctor's manual, there is a section on life advice. And, yes, maybe this is the abstract stuff. And, in a sense, I've been a little bit taken to task that I'm including life advice inside of a how-to manual for doctors. But really, I think that it's important to step back and look at the big picture on how to succeed. So, abundance versus scarcity. I see this quite a bit in the attitudes of particular doctors, where some doctors feel that um, there's competition out in the world, that a dentist opening up next to them is going to be hard, or they're looking at demographics like crazy to figure out if they should open an office because they're scared about competition. Or they're a little bit apprehensive when another doctor is introduced to the practice, because the new patients will now be divided amongst more doctors. So these types of things, got me thinking about the abundance versus scarcity. And really, I have always kind of felt like, and I've watched people in my life that uh, came from the same background, yet were able to achieve a lot more than other people from their exact same upbringing. And so I always talk with doctors about um, this concept of light of abundance versus scarcity, and I always draw their attention to a field, okay, just like this picture down at the bottom. And just imagine two individuals, and they each purchase a field like this, and really the perception of what they bought is the starting point for um, their trajectories in life. So, let's say that Frank buys this plot of land, and Joe buys the adjacent plot of land. And Frank looks at it and says, "Well, we've got some trees. It looks like, we've got a lawn to mow here. That's going to be a lot of work. So I guess I'll maybe hire someone to mow the lawn. And, since this is kind of out from the city, I hopefully I don't have to do any work on the trees. And, no one will really care since if the branches fall down, not a big deal." So, Frank does that, and, just kind of looks at his land every once in a while. Whereas Joe takes the same plot of land, and he's looking at this plot of land and figuring out, so what can I do? What can I do here? I've got this beautiful grass here, um, but I'm wondering, I wonder if there's any minerals, or if there's oil, if there's water underneath here, um, because I got to figure out what exactly I bought. So Joe goes out there, orders a soil survey, or orders a water survey, maybe talks with some geologists and figure out if there's oil around here. Um, and then he's thinking, well, if you look in the back side of there, you see there's that little hill over there. That probably would be a really beautiful area for a house. So I'm going to go and survey it and take a look and make sure that it's actually a perfect spot. And then I like this area. It'd be nice if we could fence it, and maybe get some animals in here, or think about what property values would be if we built that house back on the back side. And so you know, the year goes on, and Frank is just sitting there paying for his lawn to be mowed. Yet Joe is just working it, trying to figure out what he can do to increase the value of this property that he bought. And you might say 5 years passes by, and Frank's property looks pretty much like this, maybe a little bit worse condition because some of the tree branches have fallen off and he hasn't really maintained it. Yet Joe's property now looks like this. Okay, and then Frank and Joe meet up and start talking, and Frank's like, "What? I can't believe that you were able to do all of that. I mean, my property, I don't think it's got oil on it, and I don't think we could do a fence. But look at the value of your place. Now Joe's on a property that's got a nice house back there on that hill. He's got it fenced in. He's already got oil rigs going in the back of the house, making money, and he's got a golf course on the front. And the place is worth, let's say, $10 million. Whereas Frank, he's been paying his property taxes, and the place is just worth about the same, or maybe a little bit less. And this concept is super, um, like a microcosm of what happens with dentists. Um, you could look at what happened in Bennett, Colorado. I came out here, looked around and didn't see a lot of houses, and um, the practice had gone into bankruptcy just a year before, and the whole attitude of the staff was, oh, this place is not that great. Um, but and maybe Bennett wasn't the most fertile area of all of the United States, but it was that plot of land out in the middle of nowhere that Frank and Joe bought. And so, really, it wasn't Bennett. It wasn't if I had started in Denver, Colorado, or wherever the demographics would have taken me. It was more of whatever you're given, you work it. You find all of the little opportunities out there to make it blossom, to make it more valuable. And I've seen this time and time again where um, there's a doctor who goes into um, an office uh, with a lot of apprehension because they're like, well, what is the patient demographics? What is the patient numbers? What does the office look like? Um, and in reality, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is the doctor and their ability to want to create value more than find value. The best upsides are when you find a little opportunity to create value. And I think that sometimes that's why us as open and affordable doctors are a little bit leery on purchasing existing practices for a large amount of money. Why? Because we know that the value is in how much you work it. And so I think that that's one of the big concepts that you can take away from that. So just coming back to that um, abundance versus scarcity portion of the open and affordable doctor manual is, some people think that competition, being born into a certain country or a family situation, or because of their limited resources, or any of the other excuses, are a reason for not having what they want. But you need to understand that the only reason you will succeed is because of you. Frank and Joe had the exact same plot of land, but Joe was able to create value and create success because of what he did. Okay. So, like I said or mentioned at the very beginning, whatever you dream and whatever you work for will come true. If you dream big dreams, those are the dreams that you're going to achieve. It's weird. It just simply happens. If you are thinking, whatever your dream is, okay, if you're thinking you want to open up 100 dental offices, you'll open up 100 dental offices. If your dream is to have 5 kids, guess what? You will work it and so that you can have 5 kids. If your dream is to take a vacation to Disneyland, you'll work towards that and it'll come true. So the ability for you to recognize that the size of your dream or what you dream about is very important because you will realize whatever you dream as long as you work hard. The other concept that you have to understand is that life is a lot shorter than you think. And unfortunately, for many people, it ends very prematurely. And if you think that you can fulfill your dreams by the age of 70, you are misguided. You need to be working hard to achieve your dreams this year. You need to work to achieve your dreams within 5 years. Something more immediate because you never know when life is going to take a turn and your dreams might not be able to be realized. So it is important for you to evaluate yourself and ask yourself, do you have that abundance or that scarcity attitude? Meaning, is there just unlimited opportunity in the world, or is there a scarcity? Meaning, are you competing with other people? There's a concept of what's called a zero-sum game, meaning if someone else wins, you lose. Um, that is a scarcity attitude. In reality, if you think about it, if someone else wins, you also win. So if you're surrounding yourself by successful people, when they win, you will win. And you need to have that attitude that there is no competition in life. There's enough for everyone. And if there's any portion that you are potentially feeling like you're losing, it's most likely because of yourself and instead of competition. Um, so you need to think about dreaming big. Another example would be is two people. One, let's say that they're looking at a purse that they want to buy. One of them thinks, "Wow, that is expensive. I don't think I want to buy it." The other person thinks, "Wow, what do I need to do to be able to afford to buy that purse?" That is an abundance mentality. So, many times in life, the word no for people is super hard on them, and they feel like that's all we can do. I was told that I can't do this, so I'm going to try something else. Um, but really, the word no is simply a wall for you to be able to climb over. I felt this quite a bit from the successful people that I know, that they really feel that the world is their playground. And people that tell them no, it literally doesn't faze them at all. They don't care if someone says no. They're going to find a way to live their dream. And they really play life as a game where it's basically their sandbox, and they're going to do what they're going to do, and it doesn't matter if people tell them no. And in fact, they kind of feed off of other people's negativity because they're so positive and they want to live their own dreams, that someone saying no just kind of adds fuel to the fire that they're gonna do it. So think about those times when you are told no, and find ways to climb over that wall. So again, remember that life is not a zero sum game. If one person wins, everyone wins. Um, and if you surround yourself with winners, you'll become a winner. Okay. So just looking, a little bit more in detail about this, I take a look at my practice here in a couple of weeks, and this is my schedule. And this is a couple of weeks out. And I see here on the hygiene side, I've got two columns of hygiene. um, on my side, I'm starting out at 7:30 doing an interior six. Have more crowns to do, root canal extractions, fillings, and my day is essentially completely booked. And this is 2 weeks out. And if you look here, I have 64 appointments that day. Um, I see this quite a bit where the scarcity mentality must be taking effect. Whereas I go out there and look at a potential two doctor practice, and one side of the week is super crazy busy, and the other week is lighter. And I just love those. It's kind of like a half mouth study in that those are the same patients. you can't say that it's Bennett versus Los Angeles. You can't say that it's population. You can't say that it's a higher demographic or a lower demographics. No, those are the exact same patients that are walking in the door, and it's really a situation of Frank versus Joe. Um, One person is looking at people's dentition and saying, "Hey, um, Jane, look, you've got some stuff going on. I'm taking your field and I'm going to turn it into this beautiful garden oasis um, with a beautiful house and a golf course on the front." And then the other person is like, "Nope, yeah, looks like your mouth is doing fine, and I don't really see anything that I can do to make it any better." And so understand, are any of these people being forced into coming in? Are any of these people being sold that they have to come in and get this crown? No, these people want to have a house or a property like this. They want their mouth to be a garden oasis. So just look at that and be very self-reflective on why, um, if you're the one who's a little bit lighter than the other doctor, why is that? How do you get to the point where you can convince people that this is potentially better than this? And it's not really convincing. It's more of convincing patients that you know how to get them to hear from here, because almost all patients want to go to here. Yes, there are some that don't want to do a single thing. Fine, but literally, this schedule is full of people who want to have this garden oasis. Okay, and I just highlighted, 64 appointments in 2 weeks. Okay, and then I also am looking at this. This is the identification number of the next new patient in my practice in 2022. I have 11,000 patients in um, in Bennett, Colorado, which if you look, and I'll do it right here on the video. Um, okay, if you go to the Wikipedia page, um, just take a look at this. There's 2,800 people in the city of Bennett, yet I have 11,000 patients. So again, just consider this, that people want as much as possible to have their house or their property look like this, and you need to work to be able to show them that you can take them to this. But again, the bigger concept is abundance versus scarcity. There's more work in the world than you will ever have time to do if you can make friends and solve their problems. Make friends and solve their problems. Shadow people who are crazy busy, and you'll understand that they are not selling anything. They are simply working on their ability to make friends and solve problems. And if you do that, you will never have scarcity in your life.